Ekonene. So kulikuwa na hii headline. Hii headline ilikuwa kwa The Daily Nation ya Wednesday. Ilikuwa ni Kenya strikes 680 billion gold. Alafu ikakuwa ni residents of Isulu and Bushiangala in Ikolomani, Kakamega County are on the verge of a windfall. A British firm has revealed massive gold deposits in the area and is now seeking clearance to mine the precious metal in a venture that promises a fortune for the investor, country, county, and local communities. So, this is normally what happens in hizi countries imeendelea. Place kama Dubai. Ukiendaga Dubai unanotisigi like they live in a very beautiful country, and they live in a beautiful country courtesy of natural resources. So saizi tukisikia that Ikolomani kumepatikana gold ya 680 billion and this is going to benefit the company ile ina mine. I think unasemekana wana invest 27 billion. I don't know what percentage they take after your 27 billion. But what I'd expect is Kakamega to end up being moved from this to this other level. Nacheki. But I don't think that's going to happen. Why? Because in TZ, it's a very interesting thing. Because another thing that's happening is hapa Kenya inakuwaga, I think ni British rules that anything past 6 feet, I think I need to sit down with someone and explain here, but kuna kuwaga na a certain level, anything past a certain level belongs to the government. So that's what happens. So this is very different from Tanzania, where unakunga kuna time kuna buda fulani hapo alikuwa ameshinda, I think alipata Tanzanite. Alafu hii Tanzanite ilikuwa worth so much money that it's Magufuli that actually went to receive the Tanzanite from him. So as much as subongaga mbaya juu ya Magufuli, there are things that he did that were surprising. So nakumbukaga Magufuli akienda kumit huo buda, and yes, ilikuwa ni Magufuli issues 100 million to discoverer of Tanzanite. So this happened on 11th of April 2020. Yeah, it happened first of all in 2018. Yes. It happened in 2018 because umeshindwa jo 2021 sini Magufuli alikuwa anaenda kudedi. So ilikuwa ni Masai fulani alibaki amepataga hiyo. So that happened. But now in Kenya it's a whole different equation. So the question is, this Tanzanite that has been gotten, like what's going to happen to it? So wacha tuangalie a few of the headlines. So Tuko walikuwa wameandika Kenya strikes gold deposits valued at over 680 billion. Kwa British firm Shanta Gold Kenya revealed massive gold deposits in Ikolomani constituency in Kakamega County. Then the National Environment Management Authority confirmed it received an environmental impact assessment report from the company. Then Shanta projected that it will pay the government millions in royalties and the mineral development levy. Then this came after it discovered gold deposits estimated at 5.28 billion. Then the firm may submit an environmental impact assessment to NEMA seeking permission to build an underground gold mine and processing facility in Isulu, Bushiangala region. Alafu pia according to the Daily Nation, it plans to mine the precious metal for over 8 years. Shanta Gold is a subsidiary of Shanta Gold, a British Isles corporation based in Guansi with operations in Tanzania. So Tanzania is different because, as I say, Tanzania, if this gold is found on your piece of land, you basically own it. Hina kuwaga kama states pia kuna kuwaga na ile shit that if you buy a piece of land alafu ubaki umepata kuna oil kwa hiyo land, you become an oil mogul. Ni oil mogul. Ni mogul. Okay. So koko injo najua what that means. Kenya of course, ukiamka asubuhi alafu maybe uende kushonde, umeshikilia kale kajembe kako huko, alafu anza kukachimba jo, uchimbe less than 1 feet, alafu ukienda kushonde hivi oil iruke, land yako ina move from personal property to government property immediately. Yes, hiyo ni kwa tofauti ya Kenya, and I guess this is the reason why ubuda wa Ikolomani anaitwa nani jo, anaitwa Khalwale alibaki amezusha. Wacha tusikize Khalwale.
Kwamba Mr. President sir, ambia yeye umeambiwa kwamba serikali yako imetafuta mwekezaji wa 60 billion anataka kuweka hapa, na umeambiwa kwamba yule mwekezaji ambaye sisi tunamjua kama Shanta Gold, yeye ameshindwa kuingia hapa kwa sababu mimi nimepinga. Mr. President, sikia vizuri.
Nikisikia mseka Khalwale anazusha hii design, I don't think he's actually fighting for the people of Ikolomani. I don't think so. I'll treat this as more of a threat of what's my share than, and I'm sorry, maybe he's honest and he's fighting for the people of Ikolomani, but I've just lived in Kenya long enough to never believe. Najua, mini a student of Bob Marley, never trust a politician to grant you a favor.
Haijalishi Mr. President, haijalishi mwekezaji ni nani, haijalishi analeta mabilioni mangapi, ile kitu inajalisha ni kwamba kabla mtu aingie hapa lazima wajibu maswali yafuatayo. Swali ya kwanza, Mr. President, hii dhahabu yenye mnakimbilia, hii dhahabu iko hapa kwetu nyumbani katika ardhi ambayo ni ya mababu yetu. Sisi ndio wenye hiyo dhahabu, sio mtu mwingine.
So yeah, unajichocha hivyo, but Kenya, it's really messed up. And one day I'll sit down with a lawyer and try and understand how in Kenya it works. Because in TZ, if you, whatever, it's yours. Vile nimesema in America, if they wakipata oil kwa property yako, wakipata gold kwa property yako, you move from this to this. But in Kenya, somehow, it belongs to the government. So as much as that's one ajichocha, 680 billion, you can try and imagine how much violence would be unleashed on the local population just for the government to access that. So, but if I was in this situation and I was the president, what would happen? The first thing to do ni sawa, I say when I invest, this is what they are investing. So they're investing 27 billion and it's in this facility and in the same place tunatengeneza ile kile kimap. Alafu hapa tunachikia hapa tumebuild schools, tumebuild what. So the local community is benefiting. Everyone that's going to be working at the mine atakuwa kipata this. Kuna this beyond minimum wage, like a living wage. Then apart from the living wage, kuna like health insurance, kuna what. So that people start feeling like this gold is going to change their lives. But if you tell us that there's 680 billion shillings worth of gold and nothing changes for us, we're still living hand to mouth, we're still struggling, then there's going to be conflict, and there's going to be a lot of, cause money brings out the worst in us. So let's wait and see what happens. But this gold, another interesting thing about it is Kenya itself, tunafaa ku get the gold itself but not sell it. Tuiput kwa gold reserves. Thinking it was the gold standards, the what. Hizo ndio vitu zina push Kenya to the next level. But now Kenya pia wezi trust, because unapata politician kimeingia pale kikachukua a sack of gold kikaishia nayo. So I don't know, but let's wait and see what happens when it comes to your stories of gold. It's supposed to be a blessing, but in Kenya, in Africa, natural resources end up being more of what is it called, like a curse than a blessing. And still, Pia, I think I saw a few people walikuwa wanauliza, if we are being told that this gold is worth $5.28 billion, is it really worth $5.28 billion? Especially considering that the president is Kasongo and Ruto is known as the guy who always has to benefit from everything. So is it actually worth that? Or it's actually worth more? Because for it to be in the newspapers, the president must have been briefed about it. Sindio? So with that in mind, that reminds me, kuna hii letter ikuena go round. So the letter ilikuwa from the office of the governor, county secretary and head of county public service. Alafu ikakuwa ni the change of health facilities bank accounts. Ikakuwa ni we refer to the above subject matter. In its 69th meeting held on 28th October 2025, the Nairobi City County Executive Committee resolved to designate Sidian Bank as its principal banker. This correspondence hereby serves to communicate the resolution of the County Executive Committee to request that you complete the attached forms to facilitate the opening of your respective accounts. Then ikaendelea, kindly attach all required documents and submit the completed forms to the office of the county executive committee member finance and economic planning by Friday 7th of November. Your prompt attention on this matter will be highly appreciated. Then ikakuwa signed by Godfrey Kumali, the acting county secretary and head of county whatever. Let's make Nairobi work. Lazima Nairobi work. So when this came out, one of the first people to react ilikuwa ni Sifuna. So before even I look at how Sifuna reacted, I'll have to take you back to one of the videos that I think I did this year. And kwa hiyo video nilikuwa na react to interview ile Gachagua ali have on Obina show. And on that interview, what Gachagua said was, Ruto has 3 banks, and one of the banks that Ruto has ni Sidian Bank. So these things, inakuwa very hard to dispute them when you hear such stuff. Najua, inakuwa very hard to dispute them, because why all of a sudden do we need to use Sidian Bank? Yes, like out of all the banks, like any Kenyan, any random Kenyan ukipatana naye somewhere umuulize, Sidian Bank would be the first bank that's going to come to mind. So it actually makes sense that it means Sidian Bank is actually owned by Ruto. And this year was the first year that Sidian Bank may make profit. Haikuwa na making profit. And how is it making profit? Because these stories are health. So this is what Sifuna had written. The health facilities in Nairobi have been banking with Cooperative Bank, a tier 1 bank with a solid history and reputation. How you wake up one day and direct all of them to move to a tier 3 bank cannot be explained any other way than that is corruption at play. And this corruption at play, of course, would be the president is involved. And with that, that's how history of Sidian Bank happen. So what's going to happen? I guess Asata move to Sidian, and Sidian Bank is going to continue making its profits. Let me look at that story, because I talked about Sidian Bank profits. And wacha nibaki nimegoogle haraka kabisa Sidian Bank profit. Alafu tucheki, I look at it news. Yes, ilikuwa ni Sidian Bank's net profit for the first 6 months of 2025 was approximately 1 billion. Sikia hiyo, a significant increase from the 221 million reported in the same period the previous year. The growth was driven by a rise in non-interest income, a tripling of its government securities portfolio, and a 70.8% increase in customer deposits. Unacheki, which customer? The government is the customer. And it's the reason why I say it's really hard to trust the president when it comes to history of gold, is because he has his hand in every honeypot. Okay, we're not talking about honey, we're talking about gold. Okay, that was not a good example, but yes, the president waga na mkono yake kwa kila kitu, so it's very hard to trust. So history of gold, I don't know if it's going to be a blessing, I don't know if it's going to be a curse, but when I look at history of county governments and I see what's being done, where now history of county governments, so I don't know, man. Let's just wait and see what happens. But the president's what's it called, like the fact that he has all these financial interests were very tricky for me. But still, talking of the president, I always talk about there are these wins that people have and these wins that people take that always make no sense to me. And one of those wins, ama nini, there are also things that people do. So kumekuwa na hii trend where people will go to some strange white person and ask the white person to say one term, and they record that and they feel some certain level of pride. Okula hata mzungu amesema one term. And I remember watching such a video and I don't know how to react to it, because I feel like, is it special that some random white dude somewhere is saying one term? Like, does that make the message more superior to when it's just us as Kenyans saying one term? Because even right now, if I was to go and a Ugandan says one term, to me it does nothing. A Tanzanian says one term, a Sudanese, a South African, a Nigerian, it helps me with nothing. Why? Because they can't vote. So hata waseme inasaidia nini? So wacha tucheki. Jo ilikuwa ni Methu. Methu, I don't know yuko country gani, but alienda country fulani alafu akabaki mpatana wa lami, alafu akaambia semeni one term. Wacha tusikize jo.
Wazungu mnasemaje? Wazungu mnasemaje? Wazungu mnasemaje? Asante.
Yeah, so nasiki wazungu mnasemaje? Wazungu mnasemaje? Okay. All right. I don't know how to feel about that. And yeah. But kuna kitu mpendaka kubonga juu yake. And if you've watched it on any long enough, you've heard me complaining about how I feel like Nairobi is dirty. And this reminds me, kuna video fulani nilikuwa na watch ya Japan, na hiyo video sikuisave, but kulikuwa na msee alivua kiatu Japan na katembea na socks za white. And damn. So someone else decided, because yeye chigegi mwafa kibonga juu ya cleanliness, akadecide ni tumia video ya Japan and how Japan is cleaned. And I won't lie to you, man, the more that you watch such videos, the more you realize that ekonene nimeinterrupt show kukuremind juu ya Lemfi. Kama uko US ama Canada na unataka kutuma do Kenya, register kwa Lemfi ukitumia promo code ekonene. Hii itakuguarantee $20 cashback on your first $100 transaction. Alafu pia time una register, make sure umetick the 2 check boxes za notifications ndio ukireceive info about amazing offers through newsletters. Na pia usijali, Lemfi hawatumagi hizi letters za, yani unajua like ma messages za kipumbavu. Pia usisahau, every time una transact $50 and above una earn points. Na the more una transact, the more points you earn, and you can redeem them as cash ile time unatuma pesa. Alafu pia kitu nanibamba kabisa ni saizi ukitumia Lemfi mzabaki umelipa pay bills na till numbers directly. That means mzabaki handle bills za maparo wako ukiwa hizo maside za States ama maside za Canada. Alafu pia we mwenyewe as a Lemfi user baki umetafuta ile button imeandikwa get USD $20, ubaki umeinvite mabeste zako, na ukiinvite mabeste zako on their first $100 transaction unapata pesa ngapi? $20 cashback. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene. Hii story that one day tunaweza turn into a first world country ni mchezo. Cheki how clean Japan is, cause damn, cleanliness is next to godliness. Wacha tucheki ja.
This is the cleanest country in the world. You'll be surprised when you watch until the end. In Japan, cleanliness isn't a chore, it's a way of life. Yes, even the garbage trucks look like they just came out of the dealership, so clean that you could see your reflection in them. And it's no coincidence. Everyday workers wash them before heading out, because dirtying the street would be a sign of disrespect, and that respect extends to everything. Waste management is a true science. There are specific days for each type of garbage: organic, plastic, cans, paper, and each category has its own designated bag. If you make a mistake separating or miss the schedule, you can't take your trash out until the next collection. And the most impressive part? No one complains. Everyone does it out of mutual respect. Public restrooms are on another level. Clean, odorless, with automatic disinfection systems and self-cleaning seats.
Angalia jo. Angalia. Sa hiyo quality, I don't know kama tulifanya hii reaction na Ian, but kuna msali shoot video ya hii tunnel. Kuna tunnel fulani kwa hapa Uhuru Highway. And there's someone who did a video just walking through it, and the video was so good because sometimes I feel like I've been there. I had to tell myself I've not been there. It's the video that I was watching, and I remember watching that tunnel, and the first thing that came to my mind was someone will have to be there ndio Wakenya wasishonde hapo. Cheki jo Japan jo, sisi like basic things ka usafi, kuna raha itamwa tu tunnel iko tu hapa, yani tunnel imekosa kinyesi, wacha tu niangushe kinyesi, wafu naangusha kinyesi moto mpaka kaleka moto kanabaki pale kaka misty shit. Hatuwezi saidika jo. Cheki jo Japan jo.
Elevators, handrails, everything shines, not because someone is watching, but because everyone takes care of what belongs to everyone. In Japan, cleanliness isn't an obligation, it's part of their identity. And when you see that, you can't help but wonder, why don't we do the same? If you're not following, you'll...
Okay, so why can't we do the same? Yeah, Japan nakuwaga serious mpaka I think during the Qatar World Cup kuna part ilionekana ile everyone had left the stadium, and after Japanese match the Japanese were cleaning the stadium. That's how clean it is. And I don't know where we went wrong, because you'll find a Kenyan who goes to live in Japan. One of the things I love about sisi kama wa Kenyan, you adapt very fast. So utapata a Kenyan who lives in Japan, say kama Msoka, Evans Msoka, one of the funniest comedians out of the 254, utapata akiendaga place kama hiyo, he cleans. So we adapt very fast. So it shows that there's something that went wrong at some point, and someone can be able to implement this. Nacheki, because I always hear his story that Kisumu is clean. I was in Kisumu and I was like, it's cleaner, but is it clean? Najua, is it clean to the level that personally mi neza taka ikue? Because mi neza taka, I just want that tarmac to still be black. Najua mchiki vile hapo nini Japan ina nini. So yeah, this was a very interesting video ile nicheki juu ya Japan, and yeah man, lazima tujue kwa nini waga tunadharauliwa. Alafu inakuwa very interesting the fact that we feel that ukiuliza the average Kenyan, umwambia like the average Japanese does not believe in God, but somehow this person believes that corruption is shame, and it's shame that should even make you want to unalive yourself. But ask a Kenyan who's better, the Japanese who does not believe in God, ama that corrupt Kenyan who kills, murders, maims, najisis, but believes in God. The Kenyan will choose the Kenyan. Shows you how much waga tuko brainwashed. But yeah, niko hapa niko worried jia kama city iko clean, but acha niongea na wewe. Siongei na wewe, naongea na wewe. Wewe ni msafi kweli? Unanuka makwapa. Una Japan mpaka watu wanatembea bila viatu kwa streets na viatu ni safi. Wewe makwapa inanuka, ukiingia kwa room watu wanataka kuvunja dirisha. Kaosha makwapa bwana, acha ujenga. Yeah. And this is a public service announcement. Jokosha fikisha over 18, ukioga lazima utumie some form of deodorant. Sawa. Yes, wengi wenyu mnanukaga jasho jo, na ikuagi fun. Kuaga jo na kuja karibu na watu just cause umeoga, that's not enough man. That tropical heat hapa Kenya ichezagi. Lazima uweke kitu kwa makwapa, make sure makwapa yako stay fresh. Deodorants haziko that expensive. Yeah, so make sure umetumia. Kwa ushaini meet alafu katika namaliza story na haya haraka na ulikuwa umeoga hiyo siku, ni juu ya makwapa yako. Cha ujinga bana. Japan, Tokyo ni safi kushinda bwana. Kwenda huko. Eko nani.